Welcome back to the breakdown. Today we're going to be taking a look at something fun, something different. I found a post from 2010 which had people from the Chicago Tribune predict what 2020 would be like. Well, 2020 was a weird year, so let's give them a year of grace and let's take a look at how they did predicting what the world would look like in 2021. I will put a link to the full list of all the predictions down below, but I picked out my top 10, both positive and negative ones. So how this worked is the Chicago Tribune had people submit ideas, other people voted them up and down for being most likely or least likely to happen in some cases, and we're going to be taking a look at 10 of them and let you know how they really did on it and see, is the world anything like what we thought it would be 10 years ago? And I'd love to hear from you. What do you think the world will be like 10 years from now? So we're in 2021. What will the world look like at the beginning of 2031 or maybe the end of 2030? Leave me a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear your predictions for what the future will be. First though, if you're new here, do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, and hopefully we can help you learn something new about the world around you. This time, take a look at the past. Other times, take a look at a wide range of different topics. We'll really appreciate your help as we grow this new YouTube channel. All right, number one, with 77% of their readers agreeing at the time, the prediction was that cheap, tiny video recorders will basically eliminate privacy but make the world a much smaller place. I would say that's partially true. In 2020 and 2021, yeah, cameras are very cheap, storage is very cheap, the ability to do all that, Ring doorbells, Ring cameras, Nest cameras, and so forth, make that. My phone here with a camera and more on the back, that makes it very easy to record. Security cameras are much more commonplace, facial recognition, and more. But I would say, I don't know if it's really made the world necessarily a completely safer place. Is it safer? Probably. I would probably argue that there is an increased safety. Is it more safe than it was in 2010? I don't know. That's a really tough one. Let me know. Do you think the world is safer now than it was in 2010 because of cameras? That's kind of a judgment call there. All right. Number two, newspapers won't have websites anymore. But websites will have newspapers as well as robust video and audio channels. Every major media personality will generate content on all platforms. This came in with 65% of readers agreeing. Now this one I thought was interesting. A few things. Many newspapers do have websites, but many have shut down, including shutting down their websites. I will say they got one interesting thing here, that every major publication will have both video and audio. And I think that's pretty much true. You got YouTube channels popping up everywhere for major content creators, and you have content, podcasts, and more for audio. So I would say that's probably true. But having things like TechCrunch, The Wired, and more launch a physical newspaper never happened. I don't think it will happen. You know, news is right now a very rapid-paced business where it's the here and now. So even digital newspapers never really caught on because increasingly people view it as old news. But I would say it is interesting to predict that video and audio would become a big part of it. And right here on YouTube, podcasts and more, I think they were quite right on that prediction. 65% of readers agreed with that prediction. All right. Thanks to extremely sophisticated voice recognition programs, here's the next prediction, we will have very little need for smartphone keyboards as we will dictate emails and other letters now to our phones. 65% of readers agreed with that. I would have to say kinda. Yeah, I definitely do dictate a lot of messages. Very short emails and more. I do text messages and other things. I do dictate. Now, I have to keep rereading it because voice dictation is not quite as accurate as I would like it to be, but it's definitely improving. So I would say, yeah, I think a lot of people do use voice dictation. Did it remove the need for keyboards on phones? No. There's still a lot of times where you don't want to be talking out loud. And two, I don't think they're quite accurate enough for very important messages. You don't want to screw up an important business deal because of voice dictation error. So let me know, do you agree with that? All right, the internet will be deemed so basic and essential that the percentage of homes with access to the internet will be similar to the percentage of homes with access to power. I would say that's increasingly true, but I don't think we're quite there yet. There's still a lot of homes, believe it or not, where there's no internet for a variety of reasons. And I think this one could be tough as we move into the age of wireless internet with T-Mobile's home internet and others, Starlink and more. It's hard to track homes with internet now. Because if I got a vacation home, I just bring my phone, turn on the hotspot feature, I have internet. But is that home really wired for it? It's kind of a complicated one. But I will say, they did give the right that the internet will basically be deemed essential. There's a big push to make it an essential service similar to water, power, sewer, and more. Let me know if you disagree with that. I'd love to hear from you. All right, virtual reality video games for homes will make Nintendo Wii look like Pong, and sports simulation games will feel almost real. So I would say a couple things here. Sports simulation games, Madden, 2K's PGA Tour game, and more. They're incredible, beautiful, realistic games with great systems on them. Yeah, I know Madden has had a lot of problems recently, but overall I think sports games are very real and very good quality. Virtual reality is definitely coming to its own. Now, it's probably not as much as people expected back in 2010. I think a lot of people expected virtual reality. We would all be doing that. We wouldn't be using controllers and stuff and computers for video games. That hasn't happened yet. But I would say in 2020 and in the last few years, it's finally kind of becoming a mainstream thing where it went from just a niche of people playing virtual reality games to more of a mainstream movement. But I don't think it's prevalent more so than a traditional controller or traditional keyboard and mouse to play video games at this time. Could that happen in the next 5 to 10 years? Probably. All right, outdoor smoking will be banned in most places as political strength of the dwindling number of nicotine addiction continues. So that's kind of a weirdly worded one, but basically that smoking will be banned in most outdoor public places. That's happening in my hometown. Smoking at city parks is now banned. Increasingly, that is becoming more and more common. Is it most public places? No, not at this time. Is the movement moving that way? Yes. Are the number of people smoking falling? Yes. Is their political ability to stop movements of ban smoking dwindling? Yep. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. All right. The concept of landline telephones will be obsolete, and mobile phones will seamlessly integrate to home phone systems. Yes, I think home phones are increasingly viewed as obsolete. No, I don't think mobile phones have integrated into home phone systems. I think people expected you would plop your phone down into a central dock and you have phones all around your home you could pick up. Increasingly, people are just walking around with phones in their pockets and taking it with them. So that'll be kind of a fun, interesting thing there to see if that ever happens. I don't think it will. I don't think we're ever going to come home and dock our phone and have it, appear in other places through other mobile devices throughout our home. I think people just want to carry their phone around. It's kind of become a very personal thing. I don't want my kids, for example, picking up my phone and reading my work emails. So I think that is kind of one of the big issues there. But I do think they nailed the idea that landline phones will continue to drop. I'm one of the few people who's never owned a home phone. I bought my first home 20 years ago. Never had a home phone. All right. Division I college football will have a playoff system. This one came in with 62% of readers saying it will happen, and it did. Though it may be not quite the playoff system many people wanted, there is a form of playoffs inside Division I college football in 2020 and 2021. All right, here's one that was voted as unlikely that I thought was interesting, because I think this actually happened. In 2020, Michael S. said telecommuting will be the standard. More than 50% of people will be telecommuting. Instead of higher salaries, bonuses, vacations, companies will negotiate how much work from home time you can have as a benefit to employees. Kind of happened because of the pandemic. I'm not sure it was really 50% of all people were telecommuting, but it was a record-setting year in 2020. That one was voted down. People didn't think that would happen. Now, the interesting thing is many companies like Google and more are now rushing to get employees back in, stating that work from home, well, great, isn't as efficient as people working in office buildings. The ability to have your coworkers around you, have that atmosphere to ask questions, brainstorm, and more, they say was beneficial to the point of getting people back in the office. But in 2020, there was a huge work from home surge because of the pandemic. So, kind of an interesting one. What did you think of these 10 predictions? Both became true and did become true. If you want to see the full list, check out the link down below from the Chicago Tribune. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us as we do more videos like this. I'll appreciate your support. And I don't know, let me know what you think of this. Was this a fun little video to do? Leave me a comment, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back with another video real soon. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it.